Want that. Special delivery. I need that. Special delivery. Welcome to the Special Delivery Damn Near Daily podcast. I am your host, Special, and on this show I do one of two things. Either I'm highlighting brand new music that's dropped, or I'm sitting down with artists to break down everything you don't know and should know about their latest project, which is what we're going to do on this episode. Fashawn called in to talk about not only Grizzly Fest coming up this weekend and who he's most excited to see, but we break down everything you don't know and should know about his latest project, Manna, including the cool story behind the intro song, listening to Jay-Z's IZZO to make his own theme song, working with Snoop and the similarities and differences between the two of them, waiting years for a Large Professor beat, him producing more on this project and a story about how that came full circle for him, and so much more. Plus, he even premieres the title of his new project. Oh my goodness, I can't wait. Let's get into it. Got Fashawn on the phone line. How you doing?
What's going down? I'm chilling, man. Just getting ready for Grizzly Fest and trying to stay out of trouble till then.
Yes. We definitely got to talk about Grizzly Fest, too. Last year was incredible, and I know you guys are only doing it bigger this year. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, this year's, it's 2 days long, so it was so good last year that we had to add a day this year. So
got the new poppin' location. It's going down, man.
Yeah, it was tough to get the location, though. It was basically Grizzly Fest versus City Hall, and it was a big deal out here. It was on the news like every day, and you know, we persevered and ended up getting the location in the end. So that's at Woodward Park, and I couldn't be more excited.
Yes, you guys did it. That's all that matters. It's going to be there. It's going to be a good time. Going down this weekend, Friday and Saturday. Who are you most excited to see? Because that lineup is bananas.
Man, I mean, Fanagram. I'm really excited to see Fanagram. Mm-hmm. You know, people might not expect that, but I'm very excited to see them. Of course, Snoop Dogg and the big homie Nas. You know, we got one of the original kings of the West Coast, who one of the original kings of the East Coast, man, of New York. So, yeah, I'm excited to see those guys and catch up with them. It's been a minute since I saw Nas and Snoop. Yeah, everybody, Foster the People, Jhené Aiko. Really excited to see her because it's her first time in Fresno. So I'm excited to see how the city reacts, you know.
They're going to love her. She does such an incredible performance and just really takes you into her world, so they're gonna love her. It's gonna be such a good time. Once again, going down this weekend, Friday and Saturday in Fresno. When I went last year, it was just dope to experience Fresno. You guys have really good food spots. Everybody's super chill, like in the vendors you guys had at Grizzly Fest. So it's like, go out there, experience Fresno, go to Grizzly Fest, have a good time.
Definitely come show support. And come Grizzly City to staying up with us, man. It's going to be fun.
Yes. I've been to so many festivals at this point that I'm such a fan of festivals thrown by artists. Like Roots Picnic, Grizzly Fest. Like those are some of my favorite ones because you just feel the community. It doesn't feel like people are trying to sell you stuff and charge you $40 for a bottle of water. Like it's an actual community thing and dope artists. It's such a good time.
No, and a lot of the proceeds from Grizzly Fest this year is going to go back into the parks and back into the community that we come from. So I'm really excited for the philanthropic side of Grizzly Fest just as well as I am the entertainment of it. Like for the first time, we're going to have Wi-Fi at Woodward Park. You know, like that's unheard of, that it's never been there before. And I mean, it's 2018. We deserve some Wi-Fi at the park. You know, we're bringing it on behalf of Grizzly Fest, and I don't think it's going to be just exclusively for Grizzly Fest. Hopefully we can keep it there for years to come.
It's definitely well-deserved. Get that Wi-Fi. I love it.
You know?
Now we definitely got to break down Manna. The intro track is so intense.
She backing up. I'ma earth you niggas. Similar to Moses, I would give you niggas manna. This that Grizzly City grammar. This a brick inside a fan to fuck around. Instagram it. I can never diss the camera. You can find me in the gutter. Dish me with the glitz.
At what point did you know that was going to be the intro?
As soon as I heard the track, as soon as I heard the beat, I just knew. I like to make really like triumphant like intros. That particular beat that my man Hectic made, who nobody knows. Well, everybody should know this. You seen my documentary, you definitely know this. He's like one of the closest people to me, and he's known me like half my life, my whole adult life. So he knows my vibe. And so when he brought that song to the table, I'm like, all right, that's it. And ironically, we did that song last, And I just knew, like, that was the one. That should be first, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Even though we did it last, I know, like, this shit started off, and then everything else was going to make sense after that.
Nice. Now, my favorite song is Fashawn because that hook is so incredible.
No remorse shown, no love given. My nigga.
S-H-A-W ain't know. You don't know how much trouble you ain't know. They just hustle. I hustle away. Don't say I'm done. Just say I've done it again.
Homie, if it ain't the shells, it's the gazelle.
Where were you when you thought of that hook?
I think I was in New York. I was in New York. I think I was listening to IZZO by Jay-Z.
Yes.
Ironically, I was listening to IZZO, and it was just cool how he spelled his. He didn't even spell his name. He just spelled his nickname. I just thought it was so fly, you know what I mean? So kind of just took it in my own hands and just. I had a message in mind though. A lot of people was doubting me and saying that I was done. I couldn't make another project after the ecology and stuff like that. And I was just basically just telling them, don't say I'm done, just say I've done it again. You know what I mean? And that was the main point of that song. But it was just, that was my anthem. It's my anthem, you know. I didn't have one at that point. So I wanted to make an anthem for myself.
It's so, so good. We got to talk about Pardon My G because this project is really about your spiritual awakening and kind of, we're basically growing with you. Like, we've been growing with you from Boy Meets World into now. So now to grow with you in this new chapter of your life is so important. And Pardon My G is a celebration, but it's also like just you saying you're something I want, but that's something I don't need. I think is so important because I think that's part of the spiritual awakening and kind of getting to know yourself and being like, oh, okay, I want that, but I don't necessarily need that.
She a diva and she know that. Every moment with it is cool. That's something I want, but that's something I don't need. She wanna pour a drink. I got to roll my weed. Should I stay? Should I leave? Got my heart on my sleeve.
What was your approach to that track?
You know, it was just me having fun, I guess responsibly. You know what I mean? And me still using my consciousness and still being very aware, even in that setting, even in a club setting or a party setting, still just being who I am and standing next to Snoop on the record. I was like, I need to find a way to be just as cool or like, you know, without saying bitch as much as Snoop. You know what I mean? Because I don't rap like me and Snoop got two totally different styles. But yeah, I just wanted to find a way to have fun and still be Fashawn at the same time.
I think you guys go together so well. I don't know if it's a West Coast thing or just two dope MC things, but you guys.
I think it's a Libra thing. Libra thing.
Ooh, West Coast Libras.
That too, of course, the coast. But, you know, yeah, man, there's something else going on there.
I love it. And then another person you teamed up with was Large Professor, who produced Mother America. What was that like?
Oh, no, he did Fashawn.
Oh, shit. Okay. Now I got more perspective. That's crazy.
There you go. And but teaming up with Large was crazy. I mean, every time I listen to It Ain't Hard to Tell from Nas, I'm like, yo, I can't believe I got a beat from Large Professor.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And 2017 and 2018, like, this is crazy. Like, I can't believe I finally got one. I've been wanting one for so long, and that was like a dream come true. But the way it happened was so organic, you know what I mean? I've known Large longer than I've known Nas, you know what I mean? I met Large back in 2009 when I was barely bringing out Boy Meets World, my debut. And that's when I met Large. He was one of the first people I played my album for. So, yeah, we've had that relationship since then. And when I signed to Massive Pill and, you know, signed with Nas, it just made sense for him to work with me. He's already been a fan of mine and vice versa. So it just made sense for Manna to get the professor on this one. The way it really kicked off was I was at it wasn't a beat battle, but it was like a bunch of producers in Brooklyn. We were just in the middle of Brooklyn at some club. It was like 6 producers, and Large Professor was one of them. And everybody's just playing beats, and I'm there on some MC shit like, yo, if anybody's got some fire, I'm about to kidnap all these beats. I'm about to kidnap these producers, take them in the studio. I'm on there on a mission, right? And so I see Large, he sees me, and we connect from there, and we exchange like emails for the first time. That's when I knew I'm about to get some beats. So I give him my email, and the next morning he sends me one beat. I'm expecting a batch from Large. I know he's got a million beats, like since the 90s or the 80s. I know he's sitting on a pyramid of beats, but he only sends me one beat, and I'm like, all right, I better murder this. And that's how Fashawn was born. Yeah, had no choice really.
And that's so incredible to know him since 2009 and not rush it and not be like, oh my God, I know you now, I need a beat. Like, to really take your time with it. And it's so interesting to think of why he only sent you one. Was it for you to prove yourself? Was it him really knowing that this one was for you? Like, that's such an incredible story to think about. That's crazy.
I think at that point, it was like, I already know what to get this kid. Like, he was like, here you go. You know, thank me later. Got to thank him for that. It was the same with Snoop Dogg, though. Like, I've known Snoop. Not like known him, but like we've done shows together. He invited me out to be in the movie High School with Wiz Khalifa. I'm like an extra in that, and far in the back. He can't see me. Don't worry about it. So yeah, like I've had different occasions, been in the studio with him. You know, did the GGN interview, etc. Even over all those years, like I never even reached out. Like, yo, Snoop, I need a verse. Like maybe it'll help for my album or anything. I never even thought that was possible until. I don't know, I guess the GGN interview, we got really cool, exchanged numbers, and we got tight after that. And I literally just texted him one day, like, yo, like, dog, I think I got the record, man. And he just like, all right, send it over. He sent me his email, and fastest I ever got a verse back from any artist.
Oh, wow.
And it's Snoop Dogg, though, you know?
For real.
Always approach, my music like that. I don't like to rush anything. That's probably why it took so long in between Boy Meets World and Ecology.
But in the music, you hear the dedication. You need to take your time to make bodies of work. They don't just happen, and people need to understand that. And it's like these are timeless projects that are real, just they're places in time, they're places in your life. And like I said, like we've grown with you from Boy Meets World to now, so it only makes sense that these do take a while because you put so much into them.
Definitely. At the end of the day, we're going to be listening to these songs forever, hopefully. You know, these songs are going to outlast us, so, you should take your time with it.
Exactly. Another song I wanted to talk about was Afraid, where you're just talking about paranoia and what that's like. What came first with that one, the samples and the cuts or the song?
Today could be my last day. Hey, same spliff, different ashtray. Still getting dope, boy, you can ashtray. No Windex, let the gas spray. No custodians, just a street sweeper. Guardian angel in my grim reaper. And this shit gets deeper than a tidal wave. Pretending to be brave. You afraid, nigga. You were so afraid.
I was at Evidence's house out in Venice, and I was just chilling there. He was working on, I think, Cats and Dogs at the time. He was just playing beats from Exile, from Khalil, from Alchemist, just various producers, right? Mm-hmm. But then he played this Exile beat, and I'm like, I was kind of tight. I was like, how come Exile didn't send this shit to me, right? I was tight. I'm like, yo, Ev, like, let me get that. You ain't doing nothing with it. Let me get it. And I actually got that beat from Evidence's house. It's produced by Exile, but we all crew, we all family, we all kind of like, our crews are synonymous, you know what I mean? And so we operate like that. And so I snatched that track from Ev. The beat came first, and then the bars came, and then it was incomplete. You know, I had the hook was just the sample floating all through it, just the vocal, but I thought it was incomplete and sent it back to Exile, like, please add some cuts to this. Only you could do this. It's only right. Like, we get Exile to do the cuts. So, yeah, that's how the order of it happened.
I love that. And it only makes sense, too, because, I keep going back to Boy Meets World, but that project was so important to you and to all of us. So to have Exile on this project is so important, too. No matter how you got the beat, he needed to be on this project. So.
Oh, for sure. I was relentless about it. I'm like, I always tell myself, I won't do another project without Exile. You know what I'm saying? He's got to be involved in some way, shape, or form, because just the sound that we cultivated on Boy Meets World is like, that's the standard I put myself up to, like, sonically. I wanted to at least feel like that every time. Exile is a pivotal part in that.
Such an incredible sound. Oh, I love it. And then when we think about the real powerful records on this project, we definitely think of Clouds Above. Was that one hard or easy to make? Because I feel like when people really bare their soul, it can either be super difficult to write or super easy to write.
Wish I was to blame this time, but the only thing we could blame is time. You knew it wasn't your fault that a loved one was lost. I mean, I wish I could turn your pain into mine. FYI, on me you can rely for a helping hand or a shoulder where you can cry. No need to feel embarrassed. Left so many memories for us to cherish. Don't be afraid to let it. You ever felt like taking a leap of faith just to see if you land on your feet or your
That
face?
song was more therapeutic for me because I was dealing with just seeing someone else's pain and trying to aid their pain and somehow like wishing I could take their pain away, you know what I'm saying, and exchange it for my happiness. And just wrestling with the thought of that and wrestling with those emotions, wrestling with death and life and the whole tightrope we all walk on. It felt good to make, you know, even though I was talking about such painful things, it felt good to get off my chest, and my homie could play that anytime he feels down, you know. The person I was actually talking to on that song. I know the music is for everyone, but my songs are really personal. Even they're just as personal as they are public.
But I think that's what makes them so relatable and such about the human condition, because if something's personal to you, we're all living this life. So it's like, if it's that personal to you, you can only imagine how it resonates with somebody else. So I think that's one of the most important parts of your music, definitely.
Thank you.
No problem. And then another super powerful and important song is Proud. I absolutely love that one. Where did that intro come from?
Some history. Who's Malcolm X? George Washington Carver?
A scientist.
Shirley Chisholm?
A first black congresswoman.
Mary McLeod Bethune?
An educator.
Marian Anderson?
An opera singer.
Duke Ellington?
A jazz composer.
I came across this footage of Tupac in Chicago in like 1993 or something like that. And he was at the Marcus Garvey, I think, elementary school. But it was, you know, Marcus Garvey School in Chicago. And he was just there with all these black children and black teachers. And this lady's standing ahead of the class with a stick in her hand and, you know, looking at the board. And there's all these beautiful black figures. And she's just pointing at them. And harmoniously, all the children say who they are and describe who this person is. And I just thought it was a beautiful moment. And I felt proud when I was watching that. And that's what really gave birth to the song. Just that little small clip. Ended up making the beat in my living room. It was really it's the first time people are hearing my production too. Like my actual production ear. And yeah, it's the first time I got behind the boards like that. And yeah, it came out crazy.
That's so cool. I love that. Like,
can I share one more funny story with you about that song?
Please do.
Okay, so I'm chilling in my living room, same living room where I produced the song, and I leave my television on, and it happens to be on BET, and I go to check the mail, and as I'm walking out to check the mail, the Proud video comes on. And I couldn't be more proud. I'm like, I can't believe it just came full circle. I'm like, I'm sitting right here where I made it. The video's out. It's on BET. Like, that was one of those moments for me. It was crazy.
Full circle really shows you that you're where you're supposed to be and you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. And it couldn't come with a better song. That was such a necessary song. It's just so good. Oh, my goodness. Oh, I love it. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else you want to tell the people about Manna?
All I want people to know about Manna is that it came from my heart, and so I put every fiber in my body into it, every piece of my heart into it, and as I do all my music, but this is special, just being my second project on Mass Appeal and still having a deal over there and still running with the Don, and so this project is real special for me, man. Had some really incredible times making it, and some tough times, but I hope that all resonates through the music, and I hope you feel it. I hope you feel how I felt when I was making it, when you hear it.
Yes, once again, Grizzly Fest this Friday and Saturday in Fresno, Woodward Park. It's going down. Nas, Foster the People, Jhené Aiko, Action Bronson, Snoop Dogg, Fashawn himself, and so many other people.
It's so much.
Man.
It's crazy.
And then we're satisfied, we're happy, but we always got to ask, what's next?
I will unveil my next project really soon, but for now, I guess you'll be the first person I tell this to on a public platform. The title of it is Millennia.
Oh.
Not to be confused with millennia like Donald Trump's wife. Not to be confused. It's millennia, and it's really an album inspired by my, I guess, millennialism. You know, me being a millennial still, technically, you know, still a millennial. So this is me just, I guess, examining this era that we're in, and it's my take on the era and all the characters in this era, and just really taking you inside of that world. So I call it millennia.
You just saying that, like, my mind goes so many different places.
Not just the rap shit, but the whole, the nation, everything that's going on in the world. Like, it's an interesting time. So I think it should be documented to none other than your boy.
Definitely. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, my goodness. I'm so excited. Man, oh, man. Oh, yay, yay, yay.
I don't got a date for it yet. I'm still cooking. I took a break off to really hone my skills as a producer. So you're really gonna get, you know, a pure sound this time. Not like you didn't before, but you're really gonna get it from my fingertips. You know, every chord, every drum. Still gonna get beats from Exile, but I think the core of the next album I'll be doing.
I love that too, because that makes it even more personal. Like you said, right from your fingertips, straight from your mouth. Like, we really get all of you in this. Oh man, that's, oh goodness, so good. Anything else you want to tell the people?
Just tell them that I love them, and I'll see them soon. I'll see them at Grizzly Fest and Grizzly Gang forever. G's up. You already know the rest. And yeah, Fashawn forever.
Yay! Thank you so much.
Anytime, Miss Special.
And thank you so much for checking out this episode. Man, I am so thankful to Fashawn for premiering his project title right here on the podcast. I wasn't expecting that. Super, super cool. I've known that guy for many years, and he is just definitely one of the nicest on and off the mic. So make sure you support him however you can. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit that follow or subscribe button on whatever you're listening on. Reach out to me. Let me know what your favorite part was. I'm on Twitter at SpecialSays, and on Instagram it's at SpecialSays as well. And if you don't have a favorite part and just want to say hi, hey, I'm here for that too. I always like to end the show with using my platform for good. And this time I want to talk about JDRF, which is the organization that helps type 1 diabetes as far as awareness, fundraising, all that stuff. If you did not know, type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes are two very different things. So I would definitely encourage you to read up on JDRF. They have a bunch of what they call one walks going on all throughout the summer, all over the country. So just get involved with JDRF, learn about the two different types of diabetes and what you can do to support them. Also, I always like to include what you should listen to next. If you enjoyed this podcast, you will enjoy the Spiritual Homegirl podcast. So good. She's had guests like Tajay of Hieroglyphics, Chef Babette Davis, who is an incredible restaurant owner. She's an older lady who has changed her diet to completely plant-based. She cooks completely plant-based food and is just so inspiring. And Maria, who hosts the show, she breaks down so many things, including Mercury retrograde, haters, just so many things that we come in contact with throughout this journey of life. And she really breaks it down from what she calls the homie perspective. And it's just so good. So make sure to check out the Spiritual Homegirl podcast. And as always, this episode is dedicated to Marlon. Do what you can to stop senseless acts of gun violence.